Welcome to Right On, the podcast from Final Draft. We're here to talk about all things screenwriting. I'm your host, Phil Galasso. On today's episode, guest host Sharday Sellers chats with Justin and Christian Long about their new film, The Lady of the Manor.
Ma'am, do you have any illegal substances on you?
No, that I can explain.
This is really pathetic.
Well, you know what? I've been cheating on you.
With who?
With the mailman.
Betty?
With the milkman.
We don't have a milkman.
Hear ye, hear ye. My name is Lady Wadsworth. I built this house in 1855.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, what?
This house was built in 1840, and it's literally right on the cover of the pamphlet. Do you even work here?
What makes you so qualified?
A PhD in American history from Harvard.
Oh.
How dare you pose as me in my own house?
Does everybody see this old-timey-looking lady right now? Oh, sorry. Lady Wadsworth was
The absolute classics.
okay. I need your help, not because you're a man.
Okay.
Because you're a nerd.
Oh.
I got an old-fashioned bitch ghost.
You are a disgrace. I won't have people thinking I behave like you.
You're such a good drunk driver.
Thanks, I know.
If you insist on pretending to be me, will you allow me to teach you how to be a lady?
Okay, just please stop cock-blocking me.
Cock. Blocking.
Whoa. What are you, a 13-year-old boy?
These are from the 80s. It's my favorite era of D.
A lady should excuse herself.
Actually,
Did you just come into my room to fart?
it wasn't you.
There's a worldwide web of information.
They call it the internet.
Son, this property has been in our family for years.
Your performance the last few weeks
What about it? Over here, we have... Oh, sorry.
hasn't been good.
He's a total dick.
You and that word dick. It's a shortened version of Richard. Yes, I have known many, many dicks in my lifetime.
You're a smart, confident woman who could do anything she sets her mind to.
You're right. I could do anything you set my mind to.
Close enough.
Whenever I would have guests over, I would offer them tea and sex.
Snacks.
Snacks. He does not look well. No, he's just a nerd. That's what they look like. Nerd.
The writer-director duo discussed collaborating on the script, their dynamic as directors, the added complications of Justin also acting in the film, and more. Check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm Sharday. I'm back with two really, really funny brothers, but also coworkers, Justin and Christian Long. Hi you guys.
Hi, Sharday. Thanks for having us.
Yes, we just had
We're excited.
we had a really fun conversation about your name. I don't know if do your listeners know about this. It might be fun for them. I don't know.
I mean, they don't. This doesn't come up in our podcast conversation.
Probably for good reason.
For a good reason. But you know what? To add to that, yes, I was named after the singer. One of my good friends was also named after the singer. She says Sade. So it's very confusing when we're together because people will say her name the way she says it. And I go, no, that's not correct for me.
Oh my
For
God.
her.
That must be so confusing. Also, you must be so sick of having to correct people on the pronunciation because it's spelled S-A-D-E.
You probably don't correct people.
I don't. I actually, I'll just, if I'm at Starbucks, I'll say Diana. My name is Diana. It's my middle name. I'll just curve around it.
Sharday, sometimes people call me, I worked with a producer this summer, he kept calling me Jason. And I just answer to it. I'm not precious about it. I'm like, whatever. I mean, I know who he's talking about. I don't think my name is that great that if you don't get it right, I'm like offended, you know.
How do you not know Justin Long from Tusk? Like, why is that not the first thing?
Who has seen that movie? It's like not some Titanic or something.
I love Tusk. Are you kidding? It's like it's like secret culture. What do they call it? The little the culture thing that all the kids like now. Cult classic. That's what it's called.
Well, I would say, Sharday, at the risk of sounding like self-deprecating, you're definitely in the minority of people who have seen it and love it, I think. People often say about that movie specifically, they'll say like, if they bring it up at all, it's usually some version of this. Can I swear on this?
Yes, you can. I do all the time.
It'll be something like, dude, Tusk, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I never know what to do with it. I go, I know, right? You know, it's like...
That's such a good impression of our mother.
Oh, our mother called me when our grandmother, which saw with my grandmother, who was probably 100 at the time. And they called me from the theater, from the lobby of the theater. And she was like, why did you do this? I mean, she was furious. I couldn't believe she was livid.
Wait, has Mom seen Lady of the Manor, though? Are you back in good graces?
She has not seen it.
She hasn't seen
She will see it very soon. I'm excited for her to see it.
We're excited for
and a little nervous because there are some, let's call them edgy moments in the movie.
Spicy.
There's some scenes. There's some, yep. There's and as a single lady in my home in Burbank, I'm also the lady of my manor. I have similar experiences with some of the things in this film.
Oh, really?
For real?
I'm not naming them.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to hear.
I don't want to spoil the movie. But
okay. Also, you don't want anyone that you know to hear this.
Yeah, that's true. My mom does listen to this podcast. Let's go back.
Okay. What's her name? What's your mom's name?
Nadia.
Nadia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Were you expecting something more complicated?
Well, you should call her Nadia.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I always said I'm gonna have a child and name it, if it's a boy, Ben, but says it's pronounced Chad, just to piss people off. Like,
yes, that's funny.
It's Chad. It's spelled Ben. I have to ask, because you two have such a fun dynamic together. You remind me of me and my sister. We're very close in age. We're Irish twins. We're about 10, 11 months apart. My mom was a whore. No, but
oh my God, Nadia, don't listen.
You gotta listen to this podcast and go, why are you telling my business? But I'm really interested how you work together as brothers, because my sister and I, we get along. We love horror movies. We watch that. I could never work with her. We would kill each other. We would kill each other.
Do you guys have similar sensibilities? Like, do you have, because we have such
No.
No. Okay. Well, then, yeah.
I guess that's the key is that we happen to agree a lot creatively. So there's usually not a lot of conflict. We definitely have different approaches as people in that Justin has a bit, I would say, I mean, I think it's a good thing. You have a really big personality and
God, that makes you sound like phony.
No. Why are you looking at the glass half empty? I'm saying it's a good thing. You have a big personality. I'm a little bit more reserved, a little more shy. It takes me a minute to open up to people usually, but you're a crazy person who's just out there and but so in terms of directing this movie, he was a little quicker to be gushy and effusive with the actresses who were amazing. And I ended up playing the role from time to time of like bad cop in that situation where I was like, you actually, as great as that take was, like you missed two important words here that like we kind of need for the plot.
But so then the actors would just start going directly to Christian because they didn't need all the compliments and the gushing. They're professionals and they're confident. Like Melanie Linsky and Judy Greer are like totally confident. They don't need compliments. So they would go right to Christian for the direct, because it was a lower budget movie. So we didn't have the luxury of the time to like sit and talk about the take, but I would just get so jazzed by what they were doing. I was such a fan of what I just would love to watch them that I'd get really gushy. And Melanie pointed out the other day that she's like, but Christian was more direct, he'd just be like, here's what you need to do.
Because we were directors. Right. So at the end of the day, we were in charge.
We weren't just fans.
No.
Well, no, but that leads me to my other question. So especially for you, Justin, you're acting, you're co-wrote and you're co-directing, like which hat comes first in terms of making decisions? We need to get this film done. Is it the writer hat? Like I need to get the story told this way. Is it director hat? Like, well, we don't have time. So let's just do this. What takes precedent?
I mean, we had an eye on the story the whole time, I guess. So I suppose it's probably as a writer, you're
I mean, I can't answer for you, but I would say that it was the first thing we directed. It's the first feature we directed and wrote, but there's some responsibility about being in charge and making decisions that felt like that trumped everything else. That trumped the writer hat and even the actor hat. Like you've acted so much. So like, not that it's second nature or anything, like there was thought put into that performance, obviously, but I think the directing was the new thing. And it was such a responsibility.
Which is also why
I just answered for you.
Yeah, thank you. And it was a more thorough and articulate answer that I could have come up. You're getting a little glimpse into how we work. I love it. Up to him. Yeah.
Well, then this takes me to a question I have about the actual screenwriting, because you wrote it on Final Draft. You told me, I promise you, I'm not making this up. You guys wrote it on Final Draft.
Final Draft.
Yep.
And we just, our process on that was just to we were together when we came up, obviously, with the story, and we outlined it together, right? We mapped it out
in this room. In this very room, yes. We mapped it on a big cork board before we used Final Draft to write it, and we talked about it for a couple of weeks, like back and forth, coming up with scenes, talking about stories from our our lives, from our childhood. We used, bits from our childhood. And then once we had the outline, we just split up the scenes. We alternated scenes and we just went back and forth and exchanged scenes. So we each wrote every other scene in the movie, basically. And then we would send each other the scenes and we would tweak it.
Oh, it was so nice. It was such a fun.
It was really nice.
Because I was in London. I was working in London and kind of lonely. It was kind of a lonely job. I was playing a small part in this Netflix thing. And so I would have a lot of time off. And so it was a way to feel like I was back with my brother. And like it was an easy way to kind of bond from a distance. And it always made me laugh too, to get these scenes from him. And then he would get my scenes and he'd punch them up and make them better. And I would try to make his better. And that's kind of how we worked. But even now, we were just talking about like when we watched the movie, I don't remember which scenes I wrote specifically.
I mean, some of them I do, but not all of them. Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait till you guys use the Final Draft 12 collaboration feature where you can live collaborate on the same script at the same time.
Wow, that's amazing.
Without internet, you can just log on there. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's a little plug.
That would be easier than cutting and pasting.
Yes.
Cutting and pasting. Yes.
Oh,
nope. You can write from the same document at the same time or come back to it whenever.
That makes me excited to write something else.
I know.
That's cool.
That's what a great
game changer. Okay, I have some rapid fire fun questions that won't spoil the movie, but I'm really interested. So I'll start with you, Christian. Which historical figure would you not want you to visit as a ghost in your house?
Would I not want to? Oh,
yeah.
Would you want to visit me? Oh,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Probably Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
So far.
Oh, it's going way back. I was thinking American, but yes, we're going way, way back. Okay.
Yeah.
Justin, same question.
I think Caligula I'd have a hard time with. I feel like he's so horned up and
not for you.
I think for anyone, wasn't he just like
he liked it all?
He was real problematic.
Okay.
Okay,
Justin, for you, what activity do you do on your own that you wouldn't want a ghost to see?
Oof. Well, Sharday, and Nadia's
without incriminating.
Yeah. I just want to make sure Nadia's not listening right now.
She's listening.
I mean, there are several, I would say, activity. I think the most is I have a lot of poo shame, I think.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. In fact, I defecated in my pants when I was in kindergarten because I was so ashamed of I didn't want to use the toilet. My mother instilled in us this real fear of like public toilets. And so at school, I was like, I'm embarrassed to go to poo at school. And so I thought it was a half day. And when I realized it wasn't, my body, I let loose. And
I love the precious moments that stick with you as an adult. Man, I'm glad.
I remember I have a terrible memory, but I can remember the feeling. I won't get graphic about it, but it was a pretty indelible memory that was. So I would say I would rather a ghost not watch me poo. I don't want a ghost watching me have sex either. I think that'd be like really, I'd be self-conscious, and that's the last thing you want to be when you're in doing either one, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure they totally are, though. Like
I would. Yeah. I wouldn't watch people poo, but I might, depending on who it is.
That's a great poo. That's a great question for Christian. Like, who, if you were a ghost, who would you like to pop in on?
You mean to watch that?
No, Justin, not to have sex. To just be around.
I would pop in on Justin pooping, probably.
Just to prove. Scare the shit out of him, literally.
I knew how nervous he'd be, how uncomfortable he'd be.
Who would you want to watch?
That's a good question. Can I go to different time periods if I'm
Yes, you can. You're a ghost.
Okay, I would like to go watch my parents for an early date that they went. Like an early date, like a dinner date.
Okay. That's sweet.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's very sweet. Justin and I were on a different idea.
I would like, that's a good answer. I'd like to watch that too. Or like, I mean, this is like a self-centered answer, but I'd like to kind of see one of our early days, like as kids.
That
would be cool.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I would really love to see, this is a kind of a pretentious answer, but I always think about like Dr. Jane Goodall when she first went to see the chimps.
The gorillas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When she was with the gorillas and she was first like on her own and like witnessing behavior that nobody had ever documented. Or like Darwin, when he's looking at observing finches and coming up with evolution. I feel like that to see a naturalist discover something about the world for the first time would be really cool.
You guys are so prolific because I was like, I would want to be at the Doritos plant when they first invented this seasoning.
Oh my God.
What's in it?
That's a good answer.
No, your answers are better.
You prefer Cool Ranch or nacho cheese?
Oh my God, the Cool Ranch.
Me too.
Yeah, wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We witnessed our friend's daughter have, who was like 2 years old. We witnessed her have Cool Ranch Doritos
For the first time. It was incredible.
It was
this look on her eyes of like, why haven't you given these to me before?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I've been deprived of these for my.
I've been deprived. Okay.
For my whole life.
I know. I'm jealous of her experience that. I wish I could go back and experience. I have some follow-up really quick questions before we wrap up here because I know I'm going to kicked out. Justin, who wins in a fight? Your character from Drag Me to Hell or your character from Jeepers Creepers?
You know, I think probably Jeepers Creepers just because he was a little bit more proactive. I mean, he did dumb things, but
younger.
He was younger. He was more muscular. Yeah. I was in better shape then. And the guy from Drag Me to Hell was just kind of like, he was a little milquetoast.
A little beta.
He was just coming in when after all the like crazy shit happened.
He's like, what did I miss?
Well, yeah.
It's like, what did you miss?
Yeah. That was my character in that movie. And I love Sam Raimi more than he's one of our favorite directors. But I was so grateful to be in that movie. But there was a lot of like, I'll be right back, honey. Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. And then I go away and all the fun Sam Raimi stuff would happen. And I'd come back in. What happened?
You mean you had the best 5-second look at the end of the film, honestly. You really sold it there.
That movie's really cool.
It's cool.
It's a really great movie. Let's get a sequel, Sam. Christian, for you, I wanted to ask, what advice would you give your younger writer self?
I would say,
that's a good question.
Yeah, I would say don't get too high and don't get too low. Because I feel like part of
too high as in ego?
No, in terms of like stress. Sorry, that wasn't clear.
Oh, okay.
In terms of like the stress of like wanting to get something made, and while I'm just thinking
managing your adrenal glands.
The process of making this movie was like really fun and like really stressful, and then really fun again. Mm-hmm. I would tell myself to be a little bit more even keel internally, so I could look back on it and just be like, oh, that was really fun and like easy, and not get too stressed.
Meditation.
Meditation would be a good.
I wish I had that too.
Good piece of advice for my younger self. Yeah.
No, that's really great. I love when people bring up mental health in writing because we never talk about that. So I really appreciate that answer. Now, look, the movie comes out September 17th. Final thoughts on what you hope the audience takes away from this, what your expectations are.
Many expectations. I'm just excited for people to watch it. I would say, I hope people have a really good 96-minute diversion from their lives. And it's very fun and it's easy and light. And it's something that we both find funny. So I'm proud of the movie. Hopefully people will agree.
It's strange. Like whenever I say, I guess I love when people laugh. If I say something and people laugh, it always feels good. You know, I enjoy that, doing that. So, thank you. Well, not when it's forced. I should clarify.
Sorry.
Yeah. Not only when it's authentic, but I guess I like the idea of people laughing at this. So if it makes you, I hope people laugh.
Will you go to the theater to see it so you can hear the laughs?
We're going to have that experience, I think, in our hometown in Connecticut. And we got to see it in Tampa at a screening that they had there, and it was which is where we made the movie. And
first time seeing it with an audience, it was like mind blowing to see.
Awesome.
It was cool. Special. It was also the first time we had been back at a theater, and in so many ways that was really special. So I also hope people enjoy, give Melanie Lynskey more and Judy Greer more leading roles, because they are they carry it like the best of them.
I absolutely agree. Lady of the Manor, September 17th. Thank you so much, both of you, for talking with me. It's so funny. I'm so grateful for this movie because I keep hearing the American comedy is dead, but you've proven to me that it is not. It is still alive. We just need more people to make them.
That is
Thanks,
what a huge compliment.
That's such a nice thing. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually pronounced Shark Day.
That's right.
Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to get that up. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'll see you hopefully at your next project.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Thanks, Sharday.
It's nice to meet you.
Thanks to Justin and Christian Long for coming on the show, and to Sharday Sellers for kicking butt as host. And as always, thanks to you, our listeners. If you liked this episode, leave us a review, and if you haven't already, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. For news about future episodes and more, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Draft Inc. and Instagram at Final Draft Screenwriting. This episode was produced by Kayla Guess with help from associate producer Emma Vranich. Music by T. Kelly. Thanks again, everyone. Until next time, write on.